Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by Profotech team. I am Sanjay. We are learning CodeIgniter version 3 HMVC tutorial for beginners. This is our part number 18. Inside this video session guys, we are going to list all the books in our tabular format. So far in our last videos, what basically we had done? We had created a create book layout. From this layout actually we have saved all the data to this tba_books table. Now this time we are going to list all these data what we have created inside this table to a tabular format. So firstly we need a layout to list all the data. So we are going to make a page, which page basically we are going to open on clicking on this button. So right now this page is not working because we have not created. So let's create this route or the layout first. So back to CodeIgniter and back to our routes.php, and if I copy the route actually what we have here, so copy that and let's say that route, this is the route and we want to open inside our book controller. Let's say that list all books. This should be the method name inside our book controller. So copy this method name, go to book controller, scroll to footer section. Now let's say that public function, and this is our function name. Now inside this function we are going to fetch all the data from our TBL books table, and by the help of those data actually we will make our tabular layout. So firstly inside this model I am to create a method which basically gives all the data from our TBL books table. So let's say that public function get all books here. Now inside this let's say this db select all, let's say this db from, and here we have to pass the table name, and the table name we have called tba_books. Let's say this db. Finally we have to generate the query, so this will basically generate the query, and finally we need to execute that. So let's return something query and let's result here. So this query basically what this will generate, this will generate something called select asterisk from tbl_books here. Now finally we are executing this query right here. So by the help of this method actually we can get all the data from our tbl_books. So copy this method name, go here and let's say that this book model, and the method that we have to use something called get all books. Now inside this it will basically collect all the data. So here let's say all_books here. Now this is the variable actually we are storing all the books inside this variable. Now we have to make a layout. So let's say this load view, and this is our module name, and inside this module I'm going to create a view file inside our views folder. So scroll down and let's say that list books.php. Now back to controller. Now here we have the view file called list, and let's say books here. In the second parameter I am passing this all books variable because it contains all the data. So data inside let's say books equal to all books here. So finally I am passing let's say data and go to our view file. So before that if I copy this books index, go here and let's say that within PHP tag it should be print and this is all books. Now here if I make some formatting to the output screen, so this should be pri tag. So back to output screen, reload this page. Now as we can see that we have all the books data what we have created inside our table. Only we have to make a proper layout for this structure. Now For the tabular format, I have to go inside W3 schools, and this is the tab actually we need to open called Bootstrap tables. Now inside this there are several structure, as we can see that. Now inside this bordered table, just I'm clicking on try it yourself and it will open a new tab. So inside this tab actually I'm to copy the code. So from this div container to this closing div, so if I copy this code back to editor, remove this code, and I'm to paste all the codes inside this file. Now this is all about, let's say, list all books. Now inside this we don't want this paragraph tag, and this is all about h3 tag, so this should be h3. Now inside this I am to make our column names, so this should be something, let's say, serial number. Let's say here it should be name, author, and let's say that we want one more column for this and something, let's say, publication. And finally we need action buttons here, so this should be th, and let's say action here. So now all these columns we need to set inside this t body. So if I get rid of all these dummy data instead of one, now inside this t body I am to make use of our loop to iterate over all the data. So let's say if count, and inside this count function I am to pass this books index to count all the data. So let's say books. So if the total number of records is greater than 0, so inside this block let's say iterate over books data. Now inside this it's not database, it's books data. So let's say for each, let's say books as, let's say index, and let's say book here. Now inside this for each block I'm to copy this tr or cut this from here and pasting inside this for each block. Now here I'm to use our HTML elements. Now inside this tr we have total 5 tds, so copy and copy. So these are the 5 tds. Now inside this if block, let's say count equal to 1, and before ending this for each, let's say count plus plus, and inside this first td let's say echo, and it should be count, and in the next column we want something name, author, publication. So let's say here it should be php, let's say echo book, and as we know that from the output that these are the standard objects, so we need to make use of arrow operator to access any of the data inside this single object. So back to editor. Now let's say that book, and we have the column something called book name here. Again if I copy this code, pasting it here, and we want next about book author. Again if I remove and paste, now this time we want something book publication, and finally we want action buttons. So inside action buttons actually we are going to make a delete button as well as one edit button. So let's say anchor, inside this anchor let's say edit, we have some href, so let's say php. Right now I am going to leave blank for now, so it should be javascript, let's say void 0, and this will contain a class, so let's say class btn, and let's say primary here. Again copy and paste, this should be something delete, and let's say danger, and it also leave blank for now. So if we save all these changes, back to our output screen, reload this page, now as we can see that we have some data. But this layout is not using the concept of or the classes of Bootstrap, so we need to include about the Bootstrap file. So go to create book layout. If we go at the top, now this is the style actually we need to include inside this list books. So go at the top and include here, as well as we want some JavaScript files for upcoming videos. So copy this, scroll down and pasting it here. So if we save all these changes, back to browser, reload this page, now we have some layout, and this is layout actually is structured by bootstrap classes. Now next, we want to make this tabular structure more appropriate. This is by using our data table, what we have downloaded in our assets file. So back to CodeIgniter. Now if we open about, include folder, load scripts. Now inside here, I'm to load one more JS file, and that JS file basically for the data table. So if I rename, let's rename and copy the name of the file, pasting it here, and again same for our JavaScript files. So copy on that, copy and paste, and I'm going to copy this CSS file of this JavaScript and pasting it here. Now all we have to use the concept of data table inside this list books. So for that, I'm to make use of ID inside this table. Let's say that for this table I'm to specify an ID, and ID is something, let's say TPL hyphen books here. Now if I copy this ID back to the page footer, and let's say that is script, and inside this script tag I am to use the code of our data table. So let's say firstly we need to make our jQuery code. Now inside this is our table ID. Now this ID actually I am going to bind with the data table. So data table. Now if we save all these changes, back to our output screen, reload this page. Now as we can see that this is now a data table where we have some pagination, we have now searching, also we have the total number of records as we can see here. And for these table headers also we have some sorting. So if we click on any of the header, something on name, so as we can see that now all the books is now descending order. If we click again, it is now ascending order. So we have all the functionality of our data table is now integrated with our simple bootstrap table. And now finally for this video we need to do a last thing, is that if we back to our layout, this is list books, go to create book. All we want that the two buttons actually we had created at the top section. So copy this div class row back here and paste inside this container. So if we go again to the output screen, reload this page, now as we can see that we have two buttons, something called add new book. This is our add book layout, list all books, and this is our list all books layout. So we have now a proper layout of our module section. So in the next video we will work on the edit as well as delete icons. So inside this video session guys, if you went out, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching and have a great day.